Welcome to the FRC Top 25 for week number 2 in the 2023 Charged Up season. We have another set of 25 fantastic teams. We'll even show you the top 50, ones that potentially got snubbed as well too, and all these teams that fought hard to get into these rankings as voted by you, our community. Of course, we'll be going through the full countdown for it. We got clips of the week. We got some other cool stuff to show you. And of course, we'll be chatting about all the teams and all the events that happen in this week. So get ready for the FRC Top 25. This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. If your team is using SolidWorks, make sure you log into the 3D Experience platform to gain access to tutorials, collaborate with other users, and download the Charge Up field and kit up parts. Go to solidworks.com/first and click on Log into 3D Experience platform to gain access. FRC competition season is here. Submit your favorite moments to FRC Clips of the Week by each Sunday at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow. Also, the FRC Top 25 poll is open Sunday 5 p.m. Eastern to Monday 5 p.m. Eastern, where you can vote for your top 25 teams of the week at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25. Welcome to the FRC Top 25 for week number 2 of the Charged Up season. For First Updates Now, I'm Tyler Olds.
I'm Christina Tia.
I'm Connor McBride.
And I'm Justin Montoya. So Christina is a long-time FRC Top 25 host, and many of you have seen Connor on other fun shows such as Roundup and Recap. Why don't you guys take a second and just tell us a little bit more about yourselves?
Yeah, so glad to be back after what feels like forever. I'm Christine. I'm an alumni of Team 175, Buzz Robotics, current mentor on Team 125, the NUTRONs, based out of Boston, Massachusetts, helping run events in New England, and glad to be here on Fun with all y'all. Also repping my Caltrans swag tonight. You should get yours too.
Nice.
I'm Connor McBride, a longtime fun host, first time on FRC Top 25. I'm an alumni and mentor of Team 166 Chop Shop out of Merrimack, New Hampshire, lead of design and drive coach, and I'm also a MC and game announcer in the New England district.
Connor's an official shill now for the top 25. Thanks, Connor.
Absolutely.
So go ahead, Justin.
Sorry, Tyler, go ahead. You're gonna take my purple text.
Hey, you were taking too long. Let's go.
So quick discussion. I mean, did anyone watch any week 2 events? I know that I don't know if anyone watched Israel today. ISR 3 finished up. But did you guys get a chance to catch any events this weekend?
We actually bumped into each other physically before he was about to go play in Olims or whatever they're called nowadays. I physically stopped by Rhode Island this weekend. There were 2 district events going on in New England. My own team was competing down in Mount Olive, but I stopped into Rhode Island and literally bumped into Connor while trying to find somebody and got to see him play in a lot of other great teams that may or may not be in this list today.
Yeah, I was at Rhode Island with Team 166. I probably almost literally accidentally like ran my arm into Christina while I was trying to hype up my driver for the next match. But I was able to watch a little bit of Israel 3 this morning, and oh my God, that playoff bracket, that was ridiculous. But
yeah, I mean, we'll be covering more of that on week 3 recap, Connor. But who the heck would have ever thought coming out of the event that Bumblebee, Steampunk, and Orbit, none of those teams would be in the finals even.
I know,
absolutely insane. Plus a new world record for unpenalized too.
And none of them were part of that world record. So
yeah, none of those 3 teams were part of the world record. Yeah, that's so cool on that. I was out at Midwest Regional on Thursday. Friday, I was supposed to drive out to Kettering too, but I got snowed out. I got the Kalamazoo, and the freeway was moving 20 miles an hour. So I said, I'm done for the night. So I decided to go to my Saturday event, which was St. Joe's out in the western side of Michigan, and then I actually took a day off for once. So it was kind of nice on there. But watched a lot of events out there, so a lot of fantastic teams. Honestly, my team of the week, just watching, I don't want to spoil anything, but 6002 ZooBOTix. Talk about a team that took an everybot and modified it and took #1 seed at a regional and very well-deserved #1 seed. It was so exciting to see that as well, and tried to catch up, on TBA game day and watch as many events as possible. How about you, Justin?
Nice. So I watched the California events. I watched Ventura. I watched a little bit of Orange County. But we're just, we compete this week and then immediately again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we've been busy prepping and driver practice and getting all that sorted. But I think some of us might have watched HighTide a little bit this weekend, considering we're all repping some. Mine's on the side. We're all repping some HighTide gear.
This was mostly coincidence, by the way.
Yeah, it is absolutely coincidence. But yeah, no, there was a lot of great events. This game is, really fun to watch. I think a lot of people, myself included, had kind of a very lukewarm feeling about the game when we first saw it on kickoff, but it's led to some really, really exciting matches and some great robots and good gameplay. So I'm excited to see how the game progresses going forward.
I think the interesting thing, Justin, is that with this game is that, like other games we've seen in the past that played at a very high level, it's very exciting, right? But I think the big difference from this year versus maybe 5-10 years ago or something like that is that the high level now starts in quals. It didn't used to start till like finals at a competition, right? Now we're seeing the high levels already at quals, and I think we are seeing a lot more excitement. And I'll agree with you, Justin. I've turned around a little bit too, where watching the week 0 event where it was more that it's week 0, right? Teams are quite ready, and then just seeing this progression in 2 weeks already, it's more exciting. It's not my favorite game, but it's definitely more exciting than what I thought it was prior. And you know what? The balancing, as easy as it is, there's still a lot of nail biters for that. It's kind of crazy, like how exciting that can be a little bit. So,
Connor and Christine were at events. They might be able to speak to it as well. But it seemed like from the match that I watched, sometimes the FMS cutting, like the match ending, stopping teams from driving is helping teams. They're kind of like getting there, and then all of a sudden they stop moving and
you just go in the brake mode,
perfectly balanced exit. So it seems to help a little bit.
No, it definitely helps for sure.
Well, before we get into the FRC Top 25, let's talk about some stats you're going to be seeing on screen. Big thanks to StatBotics.io for providing the awesome scouting database that we're using for that. So go check it out, StatBotics.io. For many years, we talked about ELO, but StatBotics is using a new system called the Expected Points Added, or EPA. So if you hear us say EPA, that's a lot of it's about. If somebody comes in, by the way, doesn't know what EPA is, just type exclamation EPA. It gives a brief explanation. EPA uses live updating data to find actionable insights to analyze historical trends. Teams are ranked by the community vote, so our 25 countdown will be by community vote, but you're also going to see the 4 stats below that are going to be the total EPA, what their auto EPA, tele-up EPA, and endgame EPA are as well. Just give you a little bit extra flavor for how the teams have done, and that is cumulative as well. One thing to also notice, too, at the top 25, especially coming into week 2, is that in FRC top 25, we only consider teams that have played in that week. It was a change we made many, many years ago to try to get more teams included and highlighted and spotlighted as well, too. So, we do get people that will vote for teams that, I think like a couple, like Citrus Circuits was probably ranked like 38th this week or something like that, because people just put in their team number, even though we implicitly on the forum put it like I think 3 times that you can't do that. But so keep in mind while you're voting, read the rules for it. It is teams for the current week. Also, one other footnote: ISR 3 and 4 will be eligible for next week's week 3's voting on it. So they were not eligible for week 2's voting on it. So everybody from Israel or Israel fans or the fans of the teams, you can vote for them in week 3 as well. Lastly, from StatBotics, just always treat EPA ratings with a grain of salt. It's not a substitute to real scouting, but can still be a great database for you to get some information from. Before we jump in the top 25, any other thoughts or comments, or should we hop right into top 25?
I feel left out for not getting invited to the HighTide apparel night after specifically asking for a theme night. Cool. I'm not just gonna quit.
Next time.
Anyway. After you specifically said I'm not gonna do a theme night, it's one more thing. What a coincidence. Anyway,
next time
all the Texas hosts are gonna be really
my
mad.
shirt's better.
Yeah,
it's a bad
I
shirt.
would take
team shirts in sequential order. I don't know if we could pull that off, but that would be kind of cool too.
That'd be good.
I feel left out.
Well, Christine, let's bring you back in and start us off with the number 25th spot for the FRC Top 25 week number 2.
Yeah. Yep. So in the 25 spot, hailing from the Peachtree State out of Marietta, Georgia, and Walton High School, we have Walton Robotics. It is 2974. They went undefeated, 12-0-0 record after quals down at the PCH District Dalton event. It's always so funny, like trying to roll off the tongue every different district name. 2974 ranked first with an overall overall and went out to select teams 6340, the Maris Manatees, love it, and 8865, the Tacula Droids. The Alliance was a force as they pulled off a clean 5-0-0 elimination record to take home the district event win. They capped off this victory with an Excellence in Engineering Award and a Dean's List semifinalist. Congrats to Zachary. Walton Robotics used their consistent high cone and bounce auto to lead their alliance to bonus ranking points all weekend long. They feature a slick tilting elevator and wrist on a well-driven swerve drive base that allows them to cycle cleanly across the entire grid. Their alliance worked well together, creating dedicated scoring lanes and finishing links high, mid, and low. A completely undefeated district event is no small feat, that's for sure. They now sit second overall in the Peachtree District rankings and will be looking to keep their unbeaten streak alive as they head to Carrollton in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Walton Robotics, just want to say, robot-wise, it's just a very efficient robot. It's nothing too complex or anything like that. You have a claw on an elevator arm, so to speak, with the sword drive, but they're just able to score quite freely, and it's cool to see a team out of Peachtree make it on this list as well, too. I have to admit, Peachtree tends to be pretty underrepresented, so it was pretty cool to see them get some representation in the number 25 spot.
Yeah, I would agree. And you know what, like, the smoothness of them, it's definitely a slower pace than I guess what we're seeing in New England. But I mean, maybe it's less smashy, but they definitely had like a lot of concise driving going on. So I'm excited to see where they lead. And it is nice seeing them in the top 25. Like you said, Peachtree is really underrepresented. So hopefully we'll see more of them this season in the top 25. All right. And we're going to move on to number 24.
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. All right, so in the number 24 spot, we have Team 6002 coming out of Battle Creek, Michigan. Or we have ZooBOTix, which I think they just got a shout out from Tyler before.
They did.
Coming in with a record of 16-3-0, ZooBOTix ranked first at the FIM St. Joseph District event. The small and speedy 6002 robot features tilted elevator design with a fast wrist. Their 1.5 game piece and bounce over the charging station provided a unique and strong cumulative ranking point at St. Joseph. ZooBOTix went on to choose teams 2767 Stryke Force and Red Devil Robotics 5247 to round out their lines. After dominant victories in rounds 1 and 2 of Olymps, they went down narrowly to the number 3 seeded Alliance. After tightly contested round 4 matchup against the second seeded Alliance, they advanced to the finals with a rematch against the powerful 3 seed. After splitting the first 2 finals matches, the ZooBOTix Alliance fell to the number 3 seed. They went on to collect the Autonomous Award, though, and will be looking to bring home the gold at Lakeview number 1 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll just chime in on this team. You saw on screen was the behind the bumpers of the team that we did with them. I was so impressed with ZooBOTix. It's a modified. They call it themselves a Frankenstein Everybot is what they call it, and it's so cool. We had a little bit of discussion on this, Connor. I know on Roundup was just like where does the Everybot go and how can teams evolve on what that is. And ZooBOTix has done a fantastic job doing that. I mean, this robot is really slick. I have to admit, I was a little surprised when them and Stryke Force did not win this event. Nothing to take away from the winning alliance for it, but you know, both these teams look like they're firing on all cylinders, especially after the first couple rounds with pretty strong scores.
I will say I don't know what it is about this game, and I might be proven wrong later in the season, but it seems like some of the teams that you would expect to be great, just I don't want to say aren't great, but maybe it just feels like they're lacking just a little bit. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that are playing great that I never really heard of before. That are definitely at the level of some of these maybe widely considered powerhouse teams. So I might track and see how that changes as the year goes on, but there's some really, really impressive teams out of the gate so far.
Yeah, and I think for the first time pretty much since maybe 2015 when we had that weird kind of like round robin score seeded stuff going on at Champs, like you're getting rematches in Olymps, which is insane. Like can confirm as somebody who watched my own team like rematch in the finals from, and I guess it would still be labeled a not really semifinals, but a previous bracket, a loser's bracket or whatever. Either way, rematches are real. I feel like we're also seeing more ties. So, but it's intense. I'm impressed by this robot. It was really cool to see how they took the Everybot and really like beefed it up and got it working really well.
Yeah, I remember
Congrats on that
seeing
event win, by the way.
6,002. Yeah,
Christine.
I remember seeing
So congrats on
6,002.
that event win.
Oh, thanks.
I remember seeing 6,002 released pretty early than most teams, besides like Open Alliance build blogs, and just seeing like they were one of the first teams to show like a 180-degree wrist intake, just kind of flipping back and forth, and I was just floored because I was like, who is this team? And like, if this team is not on anyone's radar, you better put it on your radar because they're coming for you.
Yeah, and it's week 2, so I mean,
Yeah.
it'll be really interesting to see how teams evolve from here, especially with no bag. And I will say, like, as somebody that doesn't have a tall ceiling facility, like where previous years practicing was really not great in high school, like this game really allows for either great driver practice of just, you know, maneuverability or game piece like placing without needing, you know, the height, or are we going to shoot out a bulb or, you know, a ceiling tile tonight. So I think we're going to see teams that, like you said, you know, may not have made a name for themselves in a, you know, it's not easy to do that in a district in general, but I think we're going to see a lot more average teams really making a name for themselves this year.
Yeah, that's a good point, Christine. The classroom, I only have a classroom to practice in. Practice is still very valid.
Christine, talking about event
right.
wins, by the way, let's talk about your next team coming up here. Congratulations.
Awkward. Yeah, so in the 23 spot, I did not rig this. It is my own team. It's Team 125, the NUTRONs. Hailing from Boston, Massachusetts, it's my own team, Lace NUTRONs. So week 2 into the season, and the NUTRONs have already 2 events under our belts. It's like we're back to pre-COVID days. After a surprising robot failure and early exit out of SEMA in week 1, which was really brutal, 125 took a field trip down to the Mid-Atlantic region to visit Mount Olive District event, which is Brandon's alma mater and, as he liked to tell everybody, his house this weekend. With a record of 10-2-0 after quals, the NUTRONs ranked 4th and joined the number 2 alliance led by the awesome 1923 Midnight Inventors, and rounded it out by selecting Team 484 RoboForce. The number 2 alliance worked well together, utilizing the fast logo cube scoring of 1923 to accumulate link points, as 125 worked to fill the high goals, while Team 44 proved to be a defense force. The alliance won the round 3 matchup against the number 1 alliance led by Team 11 more, and after the number 1 seed fought back, found themselves in a 1 versus 2 seed finals. Ultimately, the 2 seed, fast scoring and consistent triple balance led them to the victory at Mount Olive. The short and small 125 machine sports a low telescoping arm with an articulating wrist intake that allows them to quickly cycle. It looks like a little baby bird getting some food most of the time, but the NUTRONs used a 2 game piece balance auto all weekend, missing the placement of the second game piece only once, which I was really honestly surprised by, especially being able to grab that second cube. We had a lot of problems with it at SEMA, but their auto EPA after 2 events sits at 20.2, which is currently the second highest in the world. Yay. Only the 2056. So their season record 2 weeks in is now 24-6-2, and the team has a weekend to breathe, thank God, before hosting the Greater Boston District event in 2 weeks, where I expect we'll see hopefully a refreshed and ready to go Team 125. Also, shout out to 484, because I believe this was their first win, and it turns out my very good friend Manisha, who mentors 1100 and does a lot of emceeing and game announcing, it was a team that she mentored when she was down in college at Drexel. So she texted me and was like, oh my God, my team 44. But watching, I honestly had my eyes locked on them a lot during our matches. They played incredible defense. They didn't really draw any penalties, and they really slowed down that number 1 alliance during finals. So shout out to them. But I know this was a long awaited trip down to New Jersey right as we were supposed to load in 20 whatever it was, COVID year. Literally, we're told, like, you got to go home, we're shutting it down. So for the team, this was a really exciting event. I know the team had a really great time down there, so thank you to everybody that puts on that event. I know it's like it is an event down there at Mount Olive, so thanks to everybody there. There were so many good teams there. And like, even just listening to the venue, like through the YouTube stream, it was loud there. Like everybody was like really hyping it up. So fun times.
Christina, as a team that's a dinosaur still over here in regionals, how does that work when you like leave your district? Do you still accumulate district points? Like, how does that process work?
So you accumulate 0 district points. Ideally, like your out of district would be before your own district events, but it is a really good opportunity to like, we don't have a full practice field, and like we could go down to WPI and use theirs, but it is a really great experience. And a lot of our students don't travel otherwise unless we go to champs. So
Gotcha.
it's kind of our fun way of getting out, but you don't accumulate any points. You can win awards. You cannot win any culture changing awards. But we do not take home any points. And there's definitely been discussion throughout the years of like, when is that going to happen? When is there going to be cross district, you know, points? It honestly, as somebody that works at like the New England level of like running events, it would be pretty tricky in terms of just like the equity factor of being able to do that. But maybe at some point there will be some sort of like way to cross that over, or at least add New York in at some point. So yeah, thank you to everybody that hosted that event, all the teams that were there. Our students had a really good time. I deeply apologize to anybody that felt personally victimized by Brandon riding his high this weekend of being back in his hometown in his high school and eating fresh bagels all weekend. So
I will add on to that. Not only do you not gain those district points, you also burn those district points for the teams in that district.
Yeah.
Something that I didn't realize until after my team went out of district in 2019.
Yep. All right, and moving on, we're gonna hit up one of my favorite teams and one of my favorite towns to say. In the 22 spot, we have Team 2767. 0 stranger to the top 25. We have Stryke Force out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, with a record of 15-4-0. 2767 seated third at the St. Joseph District event in Michigan and was invited to the #1 alliance of fellow top 25 team 6002. The alliance fought hard to take the event, and like we talked about before, in finals match #2, they ultimately took home the silver medal. The absolutely wild Stryke Force machine features articulating elevator design, which those two words together is just insane, but very typical Stryke Force, with an arm and quick grabbing end effector. The 4-bar ground intake with cube handoff makes them deadly when left alone to a pile of cubes. Their heavy use of printed parts and clever integration had them taking home the Engineering Excellence Award as well at St. Joseph. Congratulations on the finalist appearance, and we'll be looking to watch Stryke Force again to be competing at the gold, to grab gold at Lakeview #2 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so real quick, the seating of this event, I just want to cover, was kind of a little strange at first, and then it kind of settled out for the most part on here. But I know initially looking at the event, Stryke Force coming in, especially the first couple, their first match, they had a couple issues with, I think, detection or bringing in cubes, that sort of thing. But then after that, I mean, they were looking like the best team for a long time, honestly, until I thought ZooBOTix came in. And when these two paired up together, this is one of those, once again, where I'm just like, well, there's your event, right, for things. But big shout out, by the way, to both 3620 Average Joes, who we just posted their Behind the Bumpers interview earlier today. And then also their alliance partner, who I wish we would have gotten an interview with. We'll try to do one later, Hemlock's Gray Matter, for upsetting this alliance. And I know upset's kind of it's close between these two, but I think looking on paper initially, this looked like to be the better alliance. And then Hemlock's Gray Matter, Average Joes, and then their alliance partner Flurb really showcased well. So I know Stryke Force looking to continue, the robot looking great, but I think they're really hungry for an event win. I won't be surprised if they get one at their next event as well.
Yeah, definitely. I do love the view that event had, like with the like the student driver.
Oh, this? No, this is this is Behind the Glass.
Wait, that's yours.
Yeah, that's us.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, wishful
like,
thinking maybe
looks
for other
real
events,
nice.
but well, thank you. So.
Nice. Anyway, all right, so we're gonna move on to number 21. So in the number 21 spot, we have Team 6045, hailing from Sartell, Minnesota, and Sartell High School. It's Sabre Robotics, or as they would have said on The Office, Sabre Robotics. Only 1 week removed from winning their first ever blue banner in a dominant fashion, Sabre Robotics was back at it in full force at the Great Northern Regional this weekend, picking right up where they left off. 6045 seeded first overall. They went on to choose team 4607 and 4226 to complete the number 1 seed in the Alliance. After blitzing their way to the finals, they faced the hard-nosed matchup against a surprising number 7 seeded Alliance. The triple offense to triple defense strategy employed by the number 7 seed ultimately edged out the number 1 seeded 6045. The 6045's machine's clean driving, super steady auto continues to impress as they have burst onto the Minnesota scene in 2023. The 2-jointed system that utilizes an elegant, everybotish kind of style intake is really impressive. After 2 weeks, Sabre Robotics sits with an overall record of 24-5-0, a blue banner, a silver medal, and a closet full of awards, along with being registered for champs already. After being this well practiced, it will be interesting to see what another 5 weeks of tuning will do for this team. Congrats, 6045, on an incredible start to this season.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan Swenson, by the way, who was FRC Top 25 host last week. They had on there. This is a team that he's on. And yeah, this is another one of those where this is a team that you would have thought would have taken this event. They had some bad luck in the finals as they went in, and nothing against the Winnie Lions, who was captained by what has been the best Minnesota team for a long time, Gators, as well. But 6045, I think looking in, they probably should have won this event. They had some bad luck with it, but they're definitely they're really climbing up to be a great team. It's been exciting to watch their build season and talking to Ryan and seeing their progress. We've featured a couple of their videos on our TikTok as well, and this is a robot just able to get cycle times down pretty fast, and excited to see where they continue to go for the rest of the season, how they're going to do at championships, because I think this team is one that's going to continually be hungry and look at continual improvement. So I think they're going to do that, and I can't wait to see them compete at the championship.
Awesome. All right, great job, Christine. I'm going to handle the next 5 teams, starting the 20th spot with team number 694 from New York, Stuyvesant High School. It's StuyPulse, 12-5 overall, and with the finalists at the Midwest Regional. So the Midwest Regional was a very competitive event, as it has been historically, and this year 694 threw their hat into the ring. They feature a slick pass-through high pivot arm that allows them to grab game pieces on one side of the robot and then score them on the other without needing to actually turn the robot on the field. They can pick up game pieces in multiple orientations, and their wristing feature allows for fast scoring of game pieces. So they gave the eventual winners of the event a good run in the finals, coming up just short in finals 1 after playing a robot down 2v3 and only losing by 13 points. So a testament to how strong their alliance truly was. So congrats to them, and you can watch them again next week at Long Island number 2. So I didn't get a chance to watch. I just watched a couple of their matches. I don't know if anyone saw. The release video, they have like a buddy pusher, I think, to try to help with climbing. Did they utilize that at all at Midwest? Did you see?
I saw them using it on practice day when I was there. I didn't check in to see if they used it the rest of it, because essentially it's an arm that just like comes down, and it's almost like a stopper, and it just tells the robots where to stop. So I saw them using it on practice day, and it was working. However, I don't recall if they were using it during matches. Maybe chat can help us out there.
Yeah, it was cool. It was interesting to see. I just unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch too many of their quals matches, especially. But yeah, that was 694 StuyPulse.
One thing I just want to quickly mention is that this week, week 2, with the exception of week 6, has the least amount of events out of the entire breadth of the competition season. There's only 23 events this week in week 2 as well. So you're going to see a lot of finalists this week, because there are teams. I mean, some of these events you saw, like where 694 was up against, a top 5 ranked team that we'll be talking about. There's no shame in being a finalist at events like this, because there weren't that many events, and seeing teams up here are very well deserved by a team like 694 to be here.
For sure. All right, so we'll move into the high teens, and the 19th spot is team number 3476 from Irvine, California, Code Orange. 11-7 overall, and with the finalists at the Orange County Regional. So lots of early California events, and Code Orange brought a great machine to OCR in week 2. They're one of the few teams in the world that I saw attempting a 3-piece auto, and it wasn't perfect, but it was a boon to their alliance in every match that they played. So after an interesting alliance selections, which is on YouTube if you want to watch it, Code Orange captained the number 4 alliance to the finals. So congrats to them on a great robot, great opening performance. You can track their progress week 5 at the Aerospace Regional. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to see, there was 4 declines in a row at the alliance selections at CV, or at Orange County rather. So a little bit of a scorched earth strategy, but 3476 still able to put together a good alliance and reach the finals. So congrats to them.
So who was they weren't scorched, right?
No. Well, no, they declined. They were one of the teams that got scorched. They didn't do the scorching.
It was Clockwork Oranges, I think, right? Was the number one.
Correct.
So
yeah, good strategy on them. I loved it actually. It turned out to create really some exciting matches.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. In the 18th spot is Team 930 from Mukwonago, Wisconsin. Mukwonago High School. It's the Mukwonago Bears, 11-5 overall, and were the winners of the Midwest Regional. So over the course of the event, 930 got better and better with the robot that featured a slick 1.5 cable protector side auto with a balance that transitioned easy to a cube to begin their scoring. They can load quickly from the chute and the side of the field and have a quick combination of their wrist and elevator enables quick scoring. I think Christine alluded to it too. Like so many teams just did not fear the attach a wrist to the end of the elevator thing. But it really helps a lot of teams out that were able to pull it off really well. They also have a tremendous set of drivers. Their swerve drive was efficiently kind of scooting around defense, floating from the loading station back to the community and the grid. So it's an awesome machine. And if you missed it at Midwest, you can catch it again next weekend at the Wisconsin Regional. So good luck to 930.
By the way, Justin, very good pronunciation of Mukwonago, which is impressive in itself. Yeah. So one thing I just want to really mention here, we had Harrison Drake from 111 on yesterday, and one thing that was a question I was asked is that so Midwest was a little bit scorched as well too. The number 1 seed was declined by I think 2 and 3 off the top of my head, and 111 had an opportunity to pick 112. To be part of their alliance, the +1, which is their, I don't know if JV team is the right word or vernacular for it, but, and they end up choosing 930 for a few reasons. One of the Harrison says they absolutely did not want 930 falling to PWNAGE, who had declined the number 1 seed. And they just looked at the throughput of 930 and said, this is by far the best robot for us to go with. And I'll agree on there. 930 really looking informed like their 2019 World Finalist run that they had. So excited to see 930 doing great once again. A kind of a similar strategy type robot, though I don't think they had sword drive back then off the top of my head. So it's really cool to see a good, strong Wisconsin team and, not just be like a third robot or something like that, being a huge contributor to the alliance, and want to give some props to what time is it? 9:30 for the Mukwonago Bears.
Excellent. All right, so moving on. In 17th spot, we have Team 4143 from, oh man, I didn't practice. It was
Metamora.
Mukwonago. So Metamora, Illinois, Metamora High School. It's Mars Wars, 13-4 overall, and with winners of the St. Louis Regional. So they were the number 3 ranked team after quals with a robot that uses slanted elevator to move the game piece from the floor to all 3 scoring locations. On their elevator is a flip-out arm that helps them quickly acquire game pieces from the shelf as well. Their alliance drop match one of the finals, but battled back with 2 scores over 150 points to earn the win. So Mars Wars is going back-to-back, which teams used to be terrified of going back-to-back. Now it's like that's what teams seem to relish. A lot of back-to-back so far, especially out in California. But Mars Wars was doing it in Illinois, and you can see them again at Central Illinois this coming weekend. So good luck to 4143 Mars Wars. It's the first time I've had to pronounce Mars Wars on the top 25. I'm not sure the last time they were in the top 25, but certainly a team that I know and have heard of before. But it's good to see them on the list and getting some recognition here.
Mars Wars was always one of the early sword drives. They've ran their own sword for many years. I don't know about this year, but it's definitely how I've remembered that team over the years, and I've seen them a lot at the Central Illinois Regional. But yeah, Mars Wars, a well-deserved win for it. A great finals that we saw at St. Louis. I think some people were a little surprised not to see the Argos one take it, but you got 1706 and Mars Wars together. Very potent combination between those two teams, and we'll definitely be talking about some of these other teams coming up in a bit too.
For sure. All right, and the last of my little cluster here in the 16th spot is team number 6328 from Littleton, Massachusetts. It's Mechanical Advantage. 15-2 overall, and were the winners. They were down a district event where they also picked up the Impact Award for my first double gold Kling Bling of the season.
Nice.
So on the field, 6328 was running a link auto that was a little hit or miss, but even their so-called misses ended up scoring on the bottom row. They're very fast cycler, cones off the shelf, and they use their ground intake handoff for cubes rather. We started calling them purples and yellows because I mess up cones and cubes so often, which leads to a very well-rounded machine. They started their 2023 season off with a double banner and look to add to their haul a couple weeks at WPI. So good luck, 6328. And they were they a Premier Night team, also an Open Alliance team? I can't remember. Premier Night, I think.
Open Alliance, I don't think they were on Premier Night, but they were making the Open Alliance highlight videos that we showcased all during the build season.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 6328 is an OG Open Alliance team.
Gotcha.
So, Connor, did you get a chance to watch much of this team? I really didn't get a chance to watch the Rhode Island event. So, tell us more about this.
Yeah, so in practice matches on Friday night, they were struggling a little bit, but really started to hone it in as the event started to go on. I know talking with teams that, like specifically the number 1 seed, they were a little bit up in the air on who they were going to end up picking, but as like the first few matches went through on Sunday, it was really starting to be clear that Mechanical Advantage was going to go to the number 1 seed, and based on seeing this number 1 alliance, it was pretty clear that they were just going to go out and dominate. I know my team will see them later on this season at week 5 WPI, and I know they're going to be cooking even more than they were this past weekend.
All right, Connor, take us into the top 15.
Alrighty, moving into the number 15 spot, we have Team 2451 from Chicago, Illinois, and community team. It's PWNAGE, 10-4 in round 3 finish at the Midwest Regional. 2451 has been around since 2010 and has been a perennial powerhouse team in the Midwest. They feature a double-jointed arm with a ground intake to claw handoff mechanism for cubes. They captained the number 3 seed and picked up 112 and 2830 and went 1-2 in the playoffs, getting knocked out by the number 8 seed. 2451 also walks away with the Excellence in Engineering Award and is spooling up for 2 more regionals this season. Congrats to them for a great event. Can't wait to see them at Minnesota North Star this upcoming weekend and Smoky Mountains week 5.
This was a bit of a surprise to see this alliance get knocked out. Number 8, I know had 48 on it. Cyberknown's out of Canada, and I forget the third team off the top of my head. Well deserved for them to knock this team out. However, I think it was a big surprise coming in. Definitely an upset of a match for something like that. PWNAGE is just a really nice looking robot. I have to admit, they're for being a sword drive, they are a little slow for me, I think, for wanting to see them to get up to the top level. However, from a scoring capability standpoint, they have tons and tons of potential. They had some unfortunate circumstances with some alliance partners as well too, as you can see, like in this match, 112 getting stuck for a little while and stuff too. So PWNAGE on there, definitely our highest seeded team for based on where they finished, but I think still a fantastic team. And in the Midwest Regional, as we said, Scorched Earth Alliance selection, lots of weird stuff happens, and I think PWNAGE definitely will be. We'll see them in a higher spot come their next event.
Alrighty, so moving on, we're going to go into the number 14 spot. That is 2046 from Maple Valley, Washington, and Tahoma High School. It's bare metal, 12-3-1, and a round 5 finish at the Wilsonville District event. Bare metal came into the 2023 season clawing their way up the charging station, literally. They released a teaser of the robot climbing up the side of the charging station, giving us a very unique way of tackling the endgame. 2046 ended up being the number 1 seed captain, picking up 36-36 and 66-96, and set forth into the playoffs where they made it to the upper bracket finals until they lost 2 consecutive matches. 2046 also took home the Imagery Award at this event. You can catch them later this season at week 5 at Bonnie Lake event and the Auburn event week 5.
Did anybody else get a chance to watch bare metal at all?
No, but I feel like they're becoming a perennial
I
name
wanted
on.
to because they have a.
I think we might have a delay here, so go ahead, Christine.
Sorry, I was gonna say I feel like we hear about them more and more every season on Top 25. So have I watched them this season? No, but am I super surprised to hear their name come up again? Absolutely not.
So I didn't really get a chance to watch this team
So we
until
have a-
clips. Justin, I think you're on a delay, just a heads up. So I didn't get much of a chance to watch this team until Clips of the Week came out. But man, Connor, that end part was absolutely phenomenal. Really cool to see for that. So Justin, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, man.
No, you're okay. I'm trying to figure out how I'm on what I'm delaying here. I don't know how to fix it. No, I was going to say that they have a side climb that I was interested in seeing. But much like 694, who also had a cool mechanism, didn't get a chance to watch it. So I'm interested in going back and looking at the Blue Alliance matches and see how it went for them and if they used it.
I will say they didn't use it a whole lot. It was one of those like situations or situational, really only used when there's a triple climb. There were a few times during their qual matches and playoffs that they had where they were like poised to actually do that, but it just didn't go well that time. A lot of times. So this is one of the few matches that you guys see here on stream that I was able to find them doing that climb.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, here's right. I think is this one here. Maybe it wasn't this one.
Probably not.
I know on Clips of the Week that we're going to show in just a little bit, there is a close-up shot of them doing that climb, and it is really cool. It's so compact as well, too. I think Bare Metal's, I know that a round 5 finish, but Bare Metal, I think, at least for week 2, I thought could be up a little bit higher, actually, for this team. I didn't really see the circumstances behind an early exit for them, but from what I saw so far, they look like to be a really, really good team. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing them. I think, next week in Bonnie Lake, I'll see them. So excited to see them, and I guess we'll probably get an interview with that team too.
Perfect. Moving on to the number 13 spot, we have Team 1756 from Peoria, Illinois, and Limestone City High School. It's Argos, 11-7 finalist at the St. Louis Regional. They showed up to their first event ready to go with a very simple 1 pivot plus 2 stage telescoping arm with a wide intake that can flip 180 degrees. They were first picked by the number 1 seed of 2202 and joined by 5176. They would end up losing to the number 2 seed in 3 finals matches after getting sent down to the lower bracket by them earlier in the playoff bracket in round 4, match 11. On top of their second place finish, 1756 also won the Creativity Award. So congrats to them at this event. Great start to the 2023 season, and we look forward to seeing them this upcoming weekend at the Central Illinois Regional.
So I get a chance to talk with Argos quite a bit for things. I know they were running a little bit behind during the build season, so I'm glad to see that they really get things together for this on here. Once again, this is a pretty awesome final, so go back and watch this when you get a chance. When you see the back and forth this went to 3 as well too. Argos has that top tier potential on their team, and even though they took finalists, I still look forward to seeing how they're going to do at their next event as well too. Argos has continually been one of the best teams out of Illinois for sure. Illinois is starting to kind of get some of the old powerhouses are coming back, and we get some the newer teams coming back as well too. And sadly, this is like the first year in a long time I'm not going to be at the Central Illinois Regional, so I won't be able to see them until hopefully championships. So excited to see what they have to bring, but definitely a favorite team going into CIR for sure.
Sounds good. Moving to number 12, we have Team 359 from Waialua, Hawaii, and Waialua High School and Interim High School. It's the Hawaiian Kids, 26-6 overall, and finalists at the Ventura County Regional. 358 came into their week 2 event with a win from the week prior at the Canadian Pacific event with one of their best robots that we have seen in years. They captained the number 2 seed, selected 90-84, 52-74, and 1836 as a backup. They would lose in the finals to the very dominant number 1 seed and pick up a silver medal. On top of that, they also walked away with the Excellence in Engineering Award. And congrats to 359 Hawaiian Kids for a great event. It's hard to believe that they're only halfway through their season. They got 2 more regionals left. They have the Hawaii Regional week 4 and Las Vegas week 5.
Wow.
Justin, last week we had a discussion about 359 a little bit on where their seeding was here. Now taking a finalist on there. Is 359 a top 15 team, at least for this week in your mind?
Definitely for this week. Whether that shakes out over the course of their 4 events remains to be seen. But I was really impressed with what I saw. They were one of the teams I was able to watch a little bit of. They definitely showed some improvement from their first event, as teams often do. So it'd be interesting to see how they progress with their 4 events. But I think they're pretty appropriately rated, especially this week in that spot.
I'll agree with you. I think for this week, I don't think overall I'd have them in my top 15 right now, but I think for this week, for sure, I like them in their spot that they are.
All right. Moving to the number 11 seed, we have 6329 from Bucksport, Maine and Bucksport High School. It's the Bucks Wrath, 16-1 and winners of the Rhode Island District event. 6329 launched themselves into the 2023 season with their EveryBot inspired intake on a pivoting cascading elevator that debuted at the Fun Premiere Night. It was no shock that this little team from Maine would seed first. They would pick up their neighbor 6328 and also top 25 team, and also 509, and just utterly dominate the playoff bracket, turning all that silver from last year into gold. 6329 also ended up winning the Autonomous Award. Congrats to them on a fantastic event. You can catch them at UNH Week 4 in the New England District Championship Week 6.
So, Connor, I'll throw this at you. Is 6329 too low? Should they be up higher or in the top 10?
They should be a top 5, in my opinion. This is, even though it's too early in the season to really say this, but I'll say it anyway. I think 6329 is the best team in New England this season. They are just lights out. They've been practicing for well over a month. I think since the beginning of February. I think their robot was moving maybe 2 weeks before week 0.
Wow.
And they're already running cycles. So they've had a lot of time to practice, and the fact that they're doing this at a week 2 event only means that they're going to get better. But it's really just clean up on cycles and just get around defense a little bit faster. But I mean, they're just absolutely insane.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed by them, and I agree with you. Top 5, close to that. I would have them kind of right around that, but definitely should be at least a few spots higher than what they are for sure. So cool to see this team. Definitely, I think last year they did quite well. So cool to see them continue doing well, and yeah, definitely looking forward to how they compete the rest of the season. Don't forget, we will have a giveaway from Rev Robotics as we hit our top 5 teams, so make sure you stick around and cheer on all these teams. We got 10 fantastic teams, though, to bring up on this list here. Before we get into our clips of the week, let's give a big shout-out and thank you to our sponsor for today's show, SolidWorks. Hey, teams, if you are using SolidWorks, make sure you go check out the 3D experience program that they have at solidworks.com/first. 3D experience dashboard has all sorts of things for you to jump into, including what other teams are doing. Other things as well, too. I saw a F1 car model on there just the other day, which was super cool. And, of course, you can always download the first field as well, too, and different game components. And if you're looking for a great 3D solid modeling platform to use, take a look at SolidWorks at solidworks.com/first. SolidWorks is free for first teams, so make sure you head on over to solidworks.com/first. Pick up a copy or a license for yourself and for your team. And thanks a lot to SolidWorks for their support of First Updates Now.
Yeah, so it's Justin's favorite team. It's Team 4613, Barker Redbacks out of Hornsby, New South Wales, Australia. Again, hitting that perfect record with an overall perfect record of 16-0. They were the winners of the Southern Cross Regional and captains of the number 1 alliance with 49-88 and 65-10. They went undefeated during the Olymps, not scoring below 124 in the Olymps. Congrats on another blue banner. We were just saying how you can see them again and again and again and again. Week 4 in Hawaii at the Hawaii Regional. Week 6 at the Green Country Regional in, I believe that's Oklahoma. And then again at Champs. And then maybe if you happen to be in New Zealand when they're back at home with their families right after that. But congratulations to them on another undefeated event. Justin, do you have anything to gush about with 4613's performance this week?
I can always gush about Barker, but what blows me away, and I think it's getting harder and harder to do in FRC, is not lose. And 33-0 is an insane record. I don't care the quality of the regional, whatever complaints you want to make, whatever excuses you want to try to make, it doesn't matter. Going undefeated is incredibly hard, and to do it 2 events in a row and bring an undefeated record to Hawaii is definitely an impressive accomplishment. So it's very, very cool. I'm like Tower put in chat, I'm a little bit disappointed that there's no video yet from Southern Cross, because I really would like to see if they made any improvements to the robot mechanically or software wise. But another great machine from Barker for sure.
It'll be interesting to see. So nothing against some of these events, but like Hawaii is not typically the most competitive event out there. There's good teams, but not the most. So could they go undefeated there? I think possibly. Green Country Regional's got a couple more higher end contenders. Angel Robotics coming in, SWAT, Team Titanium. Just looking through the list here. So there's definitely a few more higher echelon teams that I think will give them a run for their money for something like that. And like you said, Justin, any event, no matter how competitive or not it can be, it's still very difficult to go undefeated. But I know I'll be cheering for Barker all the way through.
Sure will.
Yep.
And maybe they'll win most traveled miles in a season.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They should get out of that award of champs.
Because
Before
I
that.
can't imagine that. Seriously. All right, so moving into single digis now. In the number 9 position, it is the one, the only, the legendary 118. Coming to us from Houston, Texas, it's the Robonauts. With a record of 16-1-0, the beautiful golden white robot found its way to a double cling bling, taking home the first Impact Award, in addition to the event win at Channelview this past weekend. After finishing the event ranked number 1, the Robonauts chose teams 54-27 and 59-23 to round out their lines, and eventually called upon team 71-15 to fill in during round 2, making it a 4-team event win, which I feel like we're seeing more and more of, which kind of like. The legendary 118 has built another impressive robot with a very unique ground intake, capable of picking up cones from the large end. The unique auto-only cube catapult is a detail we only see from the Robonauts. It will be interesting to watch the fierce Texas district play out as the season goes on. I'm sure we'll see 118 fighting until the very end at Texas Championships. Congratulations on the Impact Award event win, Dean's List semifinalist win, and you can literally see them compete every single weekend from now until district champs. So just click on that, Blue Lions popular teams every single weekend, and you can watch them compete. So congratulations to them. Excited to see that they had a great start to this season.
That's crazy. That's teams are competing so
Yeah,
much
I
now.
literally
I
had
still
to
think
do a
everyone's
double
trying to
take.
make it. Everyone's trying to make up for COVID. I think they're just trying to get it as many events as they possibly can. But that is, yeah, that's crazy. I did not realize that 118 was doing that.
By the way, shout out to this little robot on wheels that could, by the way, just boxing out 118. Sorry, I was just watching this on here, like completely boxing out 118 for a while. Like, it was kind of crazy actually to see for something like this. Speaking about seeing, I've ragged on a little bit before, but First in Texas needs to get their web streams down because they keep changing what channel it's going to be on. It keeps evolving. This archive isn't even from them; it's from somebody else and stuff too. So I looked at some of their concurrent viewership, and it doesn't seem like nearly as many people are watching Texas this year as usual. So I hope you do get an opportunity to watch these teams, because 118, a little bit of a down year last year, I think we can all agree upon for something like this this year. Looking better, still some kinks to work out for things. So I think there's still opportunity for them to get actually quite a bit better in their cycle times. But I think this year is kind of that they fielded a robot that we more expect to see out of 118.
Yeah. Quick shout out to them on winning Impact. The last time that they won that, formerly known as Chairman's, they won it back in 2010 at the Lone Star Regional. So what a legendary program that they have going down in the Houston area, and it's just mind-boggling that they hadn't won it in 13 years.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's definitely a tough gig, especially for a team like them that isn't as like quote traditional in terms of their season span, or teams that may have been competing for the same award as well. But I totally agree. It's great to see them recognized for the impact that they're having in their own community and on the first community in general. And I love the look at the robot. The gold and white is just so only
clean.
They can do it. Yeah. All right, so we are going to be moving on to the Ocho spot. Another awesome team, pretty legendary, but out of a totally different state. We have team 1619 from Longmont, Colorado. It's world champions Up-A-Creek Robotics. With a record of 16-1-0, they were ranked number 1 and winners of the Oklahoma Regional. After quals, they had a record of 9-1-1. Up-A-Creek was sitting in first with an average match score of 97.7 and a rank score of 31. The very clean-looking 619 bot sports a unique arm and intake combo that makes their robot look quite slim and almost empty relative to many of the other top 25 robots. I promise this is a compliment. And it's probably definitely one of the more unique looking robots out there, standalone in terms of the aesthetics. But they looked really solid for week 1, punching their ticket to champs before heading to their next event for week 4 in the Colorado Regional. They also took on the GP award this past weekend. So congratulations to them. And anybody watch 1619? Because I was like glued to probably 3 different events this past weekend and didn't get to see them. See them live at least.
I watched a little bit offline for this on there, and I think this is one of the most elegant robots that 1619 has fielded. Previous years, to me, 1619 has always been about function over form sometimes for their bot on there. So I think this year that telescoping the arm they come out is just so slick. It looks just the way that slides out right away. Honestly, this is, I think, one of the best looking robots they've ever created, and obviously always back the way 1619 has been the last few years. Top tier robot. Christine, I got to ask you, by the way, before we were talking about camera angles, how do you feel about the driver cam on this that was on here?
I was too distracted by the zooming. But we're like the robots over here. There's still
that part, yeah,
a lot of movement. But I do like it. I think it's. Thinking about
I like something as long as it's not taking over.
I think it's nice because especially like this year, it's hard. I was telling Brandon this, like it's hard to see on the webcast because there's not the paneling to kind of differentiate the like metal on metal look of like is it gonna like land on the pole or not. So you get the full field in most of these webcasts, but I do like that shot of like, okay, here's your drive team a little bit too, but not with the zooming in and out. Like I do appreciate being able to see the drive team every so often, because sometimes you can tell really what's going on just based on the energy level over there, the look on people's faces. So yeah. And moving on to number 7, it's one of Tyler's favorite teams. I'm just gonna make that an official statement.
That's fair.
From Las Vegas, Nevada, it is Team 987. Bum, bum, bum. So it's 97 out of Cimarron Memorial High School. It's the High Rollers. Back-to-back Orange County regional champions for the High Rollers. They're back, baby. After going 7-3-0 in quals, High Rollers would captain the number 3 alliance with Epic Robots 44-15 and Surf City Vikings 42-76. 987's tall, simple design paired with their unmatched autonomy guaranteed for a quick, reliable placement of game pieces in the first 3 rounds. Their alliance partners, Epic Robots, sidekicked them throughout the teleop period, with City Vikings playing efficient defense. The finals would go to 3, but the High Rollers defended their OC title against their former alliance partners and captains of the number 4 alliance, 34-76, winning the 3rd match with a #solid score of 140-126. Congrats to 987 High Rollers on defending their OC title and taking home the Autonomous Award. We'll see them hit the field again week 5 at the Las Vegas Regional before heading to champs.
I feel behooving to say something. 987. Super impressed with the robot once again. I love it. It's that tall A-frame. It's a little bit taller than I would have expected for them. I was kind of when they came out with their design. My initial thought was, I thought it was going to be a little more compact this year for their bot, but it reminds me a lot of some of the robots we saw maybe in 2011, and just able to completely implement on it and do really well and take OC back-to-back. Interesting. We alluded to this before. Very interesting alliance selection that took place at Orange County. So it was cool to see them battle it through, pick the right alliance partners for them, and continue to do well. And I can't wait to see it in person come to Las Vegas Regional.
They're so tiny. Like watching some of these matches, they are very tiny. And I don't know if people saw 971's release. Like it reminds me so much of 971 without like the elbow and forearm. But I really think that some of these teams that we're seeing that are taller, like I'm surprised at how tall some of these robots are, but I really think it's for that like just guarantee reach and height. when you're going into that, like, really far back area. But they're so tiny and they are so tall. It is surprising to see some of these teams that are like not, like efficiently compact and itty bitty. But congratulations to 987 on a great showing. I'm excited to see them perform again in Las Vegas. And I haven't seen what the team list is like there, but should be good. And moving into the number 6 spot, we have Team 1706. It's the Ratchet Rockers out of Wentzville, Missouri, Liberty North Point, and Timberland High School. The Ratchet Rockers made their 2023 debut at the St. Louis Regional, where after going 9-2-0 in the quals, they were ranked number 2. As the Lions captains to the number 2 Lions, they chose 4143 Mars Wars, who we heard about earlier, and 6420 Fire Island Robotics, and called in backup robot 6823 USM Robotics Wildcats in their round 2. And I didn't watch personally, so if anybody has any insight on that, I would be very curious to hear about the swap in and swap out. Despite the swap in and swap out in their original Fire Island Robotics partners, they would come back to take the finals to 3 and end up winning, taking home the Innovation and Control Award and punching their ticket to champs. Congratulations to them. We'll see them next at the Central Missouri Regional in week 4. So congratulations on the win and good luck in week 4.
I've been really big on Ratchet Rockers for a few years now, and their performance last year, taking a division win with Citrus Circuits as well too, definitely showcased how well this team truly is, and it's really cool that they're not only doing as well as they are, but the community is also recognizing them for how well they've been doing as well too. Sometimes you get a team that's in the Midwest or a Missouri area, that sort of thing like that, middle of the country, and sometimes it can fall off. And I think to me, Ratchet Rockers is proof that if you consistently build great robots and you consistently perform well, the community is going to recognize you. You're going to get on the FRC top 25. And more importantly, you're going to make it a champs and make deep division runs each year. So 1706 Ratchet Rockers, you guys know I love you. But you're definitely one of my, especially the last couple of years, become one of my favorite teams out there. And keep kicking ass, guys. Your team is so cool, and I can't wait to see how you keep moving along this season.
I think this is a hashtag favorite of Tyler's. I
definitely up there.
Will name 1706. Yeah, your new fave.
There was a comment in chat, by the way, from NT Majowski. So that the first robot broke, swapped in a backup. Then in finals 1, looks like their drivetrain broke, so they swapped back to defense. That's kind of crazy.
I was curious about that. So I feel like the last time that I had to recall like backup robot rules, you're allowed to swap back in your previous robot if it's fixed.
Yes. So you have to play your alliance of 3 for your first match. And then after that, you can call in a backup robot. Once you call that backup robot in, you have to play them, and then you're allowed to swap in any combination of the 4.
Oh, good to know.
I mean,
I feel like it's
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought you were kind of just not stuck with, but like you were not allowed. Maybe they changed it at some point, or maybe I just understood the rule wrong. But that is pretty awesome that's like an option that you can swap back in the original one after you use your backup. Nice.
You can do it very strategically. If you see that first backup robot after alliance selection, be like, ooh. They would be like a really good like third scorer if we need to do triple offense, or if we already have triple offense, we need a good defense robot. Immediately after your match, send a driver to the question box and pull that backup card. That we've thought about that on my team. So
yeah, definitely cool update from this year. And it's cool to see a scenario in this use case where it actually was utilized the way that the whole point of having this rule wasn't to allow you to do something like that. So to see that use case was really awesome. Hey, before we jump into our top 5, we got a couple of things to do. Let's start our giveaway from our friends at Ratchet Robotics, by the way, who will be giving away a $25 gift card and also a cool sticker pack. So if you're interested, if you do win that, make sure you go to RevRobotics.com. Check out all the cool stuff, of course, in the Rev Ion lineup they have. But type in Rev Starter Bot, 3 words, Rev Starter Bot. That's your keyword to win. for this. Don't forget, you do have to be following the channel, and we do give our subs a little bit extra luck because we just clearly rig it that way for them. So Rev Starter Bot for a Rev gift card plus awesome sticker pack that they'll send out to you. By the way, if you win, please make sure you DM us with all your shipping information so we can send that over to Rev, and they can get that out to you as well. Before we jump into our top 5, let's take a look at a couple things. First off, our voter breakdown for this week, kind of interesting, by the way, so let's bring that up on screen. There were no events in Canada this week, and there was only one international, so we kind of expect those to be lower, which they were. Overall, otherwise, it's interesting because South had way less than last week. South had a huge turnout last week, and Southeast, you got to step it up a little bit here. Week 2, less events overall for it, so we see kind of a larger shift in some areas. I don't know if there's a Tyler effect going on here because I was in the South last week, and that was the largest, and I was in the U.S. North this week, and that's the largest now. So, but regardless, make sure you do vote. Get your votes in at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25. Polls open on Sunday by 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll post it everywhere. And they will close on Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you get that in as well, too. Let's take a look at our ranks 26 through 50. Any potential snubs they went through. And there are a lot of teams making this list. Some not making it as well, too. We'll just go around the horn here. I'll start with Connor. I might be calling some people on the spot here. But, Connor, any teams that either were on this list or didn't even make the top 50 that you feel like might have gone snubbed in week 2?
I see some New England teams at the bottom. So like 177, 230, 4909. I don't know if they should have been in the top 25, but they definitely should have been a little bit higher in my opinion. Same thing with 78, just missing out on the top 25. I think they should have just snuck right in there. For the most part, 176 at least for my New England bias is showing right now, but because like that's pretty basically all I watched this weekend. So my apologies, but it looks relatively right. There are some things that I would change. I won't speak on that, but yeah.
All right. Anybody else, Christine or Justin? You want to jump in with anybody that's on top of your mind?
I mean, me personally,
Sorry,
I feel snubbed.
A little rough right now, but I guess I want to...
Go ahead, Justin.
You personally feel snubbed because of the HighTide stuff? Is that why? Yeah. I guess I just want to give a shout out to the Holy Cows. I was actually really impressed with their robot all weekend. I mean, I don't know if I just caught their good matches. The robot is very clean. I thought it performed well. So to see them 38th, I think is... I'm not saying maybe they can replace some of the teams that made the top 25, but I thought they played really well. I thought they had a good robot. They were a little bit, like I said, caught up in the scorched earth that happened at OCR. So I think they have a great machine. I'm excited to watch it compete as the season goes on.
Go ahead, Christine. What did you have in mind?
I would agree with Ace's 176 being down there, but Bread, I feel like, should be maybe a little higher up. It is really tough, I feel like, for California teams to break their way up into the top 25 when there are, so many great teams that are just getting better and better. But Bread has been consistently good. I know last year on their field, a New England team had texted Brandon asking, what do you know about Bread? And he was like, that they're so damn good, pick them. So I hope to see them in the top 25 after their next event, if they have another one, because I can never remember with California teams if they've already finished their season after week 2.
I'll definitely echo the 176. We just released a behind the bumpers with them. This 176 is a top tier team in my opinion. I think to me, top at least this week, I would put them above some of the teams in the top 15 personally for it. So I think they're my biggest snub out of at least the teams that we saw there. Other than that, list-wise, Hemlock's Gray Matter did really, really well in playoffs. They didn't impress me as much in quals that I saw St. Joe's, but playoff-wise, I thought they were really, really good. So interesting to see as well. Gators, a team that was number 7, came back, though. I think they had some fortunate circumstances on their end as well, too. Other than that, looking through, I'll kind of agree. There's always going to be teams that maybe don't that don't make the list that probably should be there. And of course, chat, we'd love to see who you believe should be in that as well too. But yeah, to me, by far, I think 176 is by far the biggest snub of the week, at least in my opinion.
Just want to add one more. 8096 Cash Money should be higher up, in my opinion.
They're in the top 50 if I remember right. Where were they at?
Yeah, they're at 31.
They're
At
close,
31.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, where would you put them personally?
I mean, not top 25, like 26, 27.
I mean, that's
But,
pretty
like,
close then.
Yeah.
Couple spots.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
if
mean,
people agree that 176 was snubbed this past week, they are competing week 3 this coming week. So
get out and
time to
vote.
upvote them. Yeah.
All right, don't forget RevStarterBot is your keyword to get in for the giveaway, and let's head on to our top 5 teams for the FRC Top 25 Week 2. Justin, who do you got for us?
Is really struggling. So in the 5th spot is Team 4481 from Eindhoven, Netherlands. It's Team Rembrandts, 27-4-1 overall. And with the winners, the Ventura County Regional, where they also picked up the Impact Award. So a little double gold cling bling for them. So after hanging out in California for the past 2 weeks, the Rembrandts have 2 banners and 3 medals to show for it. For the matches I saw, they utilized their ground pickup for cubes and then run to the cones, run and grab cones off the shelf. In many of the matches, they scored upwards of 10 game pieces and really excel at game pieces off the floor. This Open Alliance team has secured their ticket to Houston, which they haven't signed up for yet on the Blinds, but hopefully we'll get a chance to see them at Champs. So I really, it's awesome to me when we see these teams represented, these Open Alliance teams. And we talked about Mechanical Advantage earlier, and now the Rembrandts here in the 5th spot. So another team that is well-traveled. But I look forward to seeing maybe what they can accomplish later this season if they end up coming to Houston, which they typically have in the past, but just not signed up for it yet. I actually do. Ooh.
All right, and also for Rembrandts as well too. I don't think there's any doubt they won't be at championships unless something weird has come up. But yeah, 40-41 looking fantastic. Once again, we see them this week with 44-14 and just doing what they do, and it's so cool to see this team that you look at. What was it, 2019 that they won championships, and in 2019 they were like not the 3rd robot maybe on that alliance or something like that. So you see
3rd
that
robot that can only do hatch panels.
Yeah, right. So you go from there to where they are now. What a jump for a team like that. So cool to see. I've been big fans of 40-41, not just for the soup waffles for a long time, but for their performance. And now they are that top tier team that you just see that everything coming together. Super cool. Love him.
All right, so we'll continue here. In the top 5, in the 4th spot, we have Team 973 from Atascadero, California. Atascadero High School, it's the Greybots, 25-6 overall, and we're the winners of the Central Valley Regional. So another team that's played 2 events already this season. They dramatically improved upon their 8-6 record week 1, going 17-0 undefeated this weekend at CVR. However, 17-0 was not enough to take the top spot from MadTown. They would team up along with 66-57, and the Alliance averaged over 150 points in their 5 playoff matches. So definitely a high-scoring Alliance. They're a short little swerve bot that uses ground intake with grid effect for cubes. And if 973's improvements are any indication of what we might see from teams across FRC, it's going to be very interesting to watch the district champs and some late season regionals to see who is going to be the first Alliance to fill the grid. Good luck to Team 973 week 4 in San Diego. So I just was so impressed by that. 973 kind of got, I don't want to say snub, but they were overshadowed a little bit by HighTide and Citrus last week, but definitely made a bunch of improvements to go 17-0 at CVR.
Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to watch them this week. I watched them quite a bit last week. So if they have improved, I mean, the robot was looking fantastic in week 1. And like you said, Justin, just a super tough event that they were at. So to see them take this and run away, I will, just watching this video now, I mean, man, this robot's quick too. And watching her cycle times is very exciting for this team.
Yeah.
So yeah, love them.
Shout out to their driver too, who's finally a senior after winning champs in 2018, I believe.
Really?
Finally a senior. I literally had to do some some like grilling to find out. I was like, wait, is like the shorter kid that was their driver? Yeah, Joseph. Shout out to Rywoka in chat. I was like, what's this person's name again? But he's been driving for a long time. So like to see that he's already getting better like after one event and it was that much of a like increase, like I cannot wait to see their next regional event and how they're gonna most def do at champs.
For sure. All right, so we'll cruise along here. In the number 3 spot, I have Team 111 from Arlington Heights, Illinois, and a ton of different high schools. It's the Hall of Fame WildStang, 15-1 overall, and we're the winners of the Midwest Regional. So I mentioned earlier the daunting gauntlet that was the Midwest Regional, and back in the day, WildStang was a big reason why. They've won the Midwest Regional more than any other FC team with almost 10 to their name, and they added another one this past weekend. They have a Link Auto, and the robot takes over picking up cones and cubes and efficiently working the grid and adding links to earn those ranking points. So it's also worth noting that another WildStang program team, 112, their second team, was picked to number 3 alliance as the first pick for that alliance as well. So some awesome robots coming out of the shop, and we'll continue to track 111 week 5 at 7 Rivers. So good luck to WildStang, and their 112 team is named +1, appropriately enough.
Yeah, I got a chance to interview WildStang and +1. Actually, we're going to do them as a combined interview coming out tomorrow. If you're watching this live, so on Wednesday this will be out, and just really cool to see the dynamic between both these teams. We also talked to Harrison on FRC Roundup a little bit about this as well too, where every year it's a little bit different and kind of how it works. When we spoke to the student on 112, they said a lot of their process was separate from WildStang this year, so that was kind of cool to see them kind of be separate. But then Harrison said depending on the year, it kind of depends how that dynamic works between the two. But WildStang, yeah, I mean, they just look fantastic. Justin, we were talking earlier about kind of WildStang was in the mid tens. We're kind of in a bit of a drought, right, from where they were. And then I think it was 2019 we saw them start to come back up a little bit. But last year, obviously, a great season. And then this year as well, too, at the Midwest Regional, which – man, had so many good teams, and even more so because of the scorch, kind of the mini scorch that happened, really broke up, I think, a lot of the potential teams we would have saw together. Really just kind of made it shine on how good 111 is and able to hold with their lines. Now, they picked up a great pick. We talked about them earlier in 930 as well, too. But 111 really just hands down just looked absolutely phenomenal on the field. Quick cycle times, efficient cycle times as well, too. Not wasting time in placement or anything like that. Just getting right to where they needed to be. I think number 3 is a very well-deserved spot for 111, and congratulations to them on a great performance.
For sure. All right, so as I like to say, all the drama's in the 2 spot. And in that 2nd spot, we have Team 4414 from Ventura, California. It's HighTide, 28-5-1 overall, and we're the winners of the Wainami Port and undefeated at the Ventura Regional. So I hate to say it, are they the new 2056, ranked 2nd again? And they're about through tweaks in driver practice over the last 2 weeks. They've just gotten better and better. They're one of the fastest robots I've seen on stream. I really can't wait and love to see it in person soon. But teaming up with the Rembrandts and Team Element gave the alliance of 6 4s on their alliance. Team 4, Team 4481, and Team 4414. Tower is a game MC. I don't know how you would have appreciated that, but they organized their match flow very well. One of the things they've inspired us to adopt on 3015 is that back in and drive out method for grabbing cubes off the ground. There's such a fast cycler, and that will undoubtedly, in my opinion, be involved in more than one perfect match this season. So 2 banners and more to come. Good luck to Team 4414, HighTide.
Connor, I'd say I feel more bad for you as a game announcer trying to do these 3 teams. The MC, you can do them one at a time sort of thing, but as a GA, this would be nuts.
At that point, I just go to team names, but yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Man, 40, such a small little zippy robot. And as Justin, as you mentioned, like that back in and then come in, like grabbing the cubes right off the floor from the single substation. I mean, just fast cycles. They're doing like 7 to 8 second cycles, even with some defense too. It's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's otherworldly. Like we were struggling with our cycle times a little bit, and then once we adopted that in and out method, we were able to cut them down a little bit, but we still can't catch HighTide. They're on a different level right now for sure.
One of the things, it was mentioned in chat as well too, but I wanted to kind of combine this. At the Ventura County Regional, by the way, the number 1 and number 2 seeds, by the way, 4414 had a RS of 4, which is absolutely insane for that as well too. And then 4481 had a 3.77, and then the next one below that, which was Hawaiian Kids, was 2.66. So like you go from 1 and 2 to 3, and it's a full point between 2 and 3
That's
there.
crazy.
So wow, I mean that's a lot of dominance right there. Both those teams are undefeated as well too.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we were tracking. Sorry.
You're good, Justin.
Sorry, Tower. My network is creating this weird delay.
That's all right. Go ahead, man.
All right. I just wanted to mention that we were tracking all weekend, and I said it earlier, going undefeated is hard. I think going undefeated with a 4 rank score is even harder. And I forgot to mention that in my write-up, so I'm glad that you mentioned it because that is an impressive feat nonetheless there for HighTide. All right, should we do the last team here?
Yeah, and don't forget, chat, make sure you type in Rev Starter Bot for that giveaway from Rev Robotics for a $25 gift card, and for the sticker pack, we'll be drawing for it after the number 1 seed.
All right. And in the top spot, perhaps unsurprisingly at this point, is Team 1323 from Madera, California, Madera High School. It's MadTown Robotics, 16-1-0 overall, and with winners of the Central Valley Regional. So somehow they always kind of fly under the radar with me. They know they don't do anything flashy, no robot release videos, but I certainly wait with anticipation to see the MadTown machine on the field every year. The robot to me is a very similar aesthetic to their last year's robot, something they're very, very good with. They're smooth and efficient with all their movements, unsurprisingly. What impressed me perhaps the most, and one of the most difficult things to practice, is driving with defense. But their drivers are clearly well practiced. They've probably seen a lot of defense in their history as one of the best teams in the world. But I was very impressed with their defensive play. They have a link auto. The MadTown machine has made 3 consecutive trips to Einstein, and they find themselves here on the right path to maybe add a 4th. So awesome for 1323. And then, of course, their season is not quite over. Just forgot to add that at the end. You can catch them at the Monterey Bay Regional Week 5. So, number 1 team, MadTown Robotics, 1323.
Yeah, MadTown is absolutely nuts. Again, I have to admit, like this year going in, I kind of thought we'd see maybe a little bit different aesthetic in regards to their superstructures and their frame and that sort of thing, just because of how the game was in general. But I mean, this is a very MadTown looking robot, right? This is really what we expect out of this. But on the other hand, I'm a big fan of still teams having wide intakes this year, and I think MadTown does a great job with their overall design. I can't wait to see that championships when that time comes. But I mean, just watch them acquire game pieces from the floor. It's just so smooth. As you mentioned, Justin, able to get through defense pretty much with ease, very well practiced. So congrats to MadTown on the number 1 seed and another fantastic robot and a fantastic showing as well, too, at CVR.
Definitely.
All right, everybody. As we do start to wrap up, let's go ahead and draw for the Rev sticker pack and the $25 gift card from Rev Robotics. Don't forget that the keyword for that was going to be Rev Starter Bot, which, of course, is for their cool Rev Starter Bot that they created as well, too. So the winner of that is going to be Blue Defender. Congratulations, Blue Defender. Please make sure you reach out to me with your information. Lots of rigged emotes in chat. Clearly, we rigged it for Blue Defender to win. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the FRC Top 25 week number 2. Special thanks to all of you who clicked that follow button. And let's give some shout out to some subs. We haven't done that for a while, and I think that's important to do as well. So just in the last week, let's get some shout outs to Corbin, Ryoka, FSS Boss Camp, Red Leader 342 for gifting a sub, Steve the recap host, some bits coming in from Wobchick, Askesian, thanks a lot. 74 months, Libby. Holy cow. Thank you so much. Nigel29 Gaming, No Cart, Alien Films, Melon Addy, Chicken 125, and anybody else we might have missed. Thank you so much for helping support Fun stay loud, live, and independent. I'll tell you, we need your help right now. We really do. It's definitely appreciated for it. We're having a fantastic year viewership wise, fun development wise. I'm gonna be honest with you. We'll be all right once summer comes, but we got to do a little more fun development when that comes. So hopefully we appreciate everything you can do for us. It really does mean the world to us. So thank you so much for that as well. And don't forget to vote. I know we always see in chat every year, why wasn't my region voted upon? Well, It's a community vote. We don't vote, or at least I don't vote.
I also don't vote.
Yeah. So when we go through these, it's, you, the community, that we take the votes from. So tell people about the FRC Top 25. Get them engaged and voted. This is a community show. It's meant for you. This is why we create all this. That's what fun's all about, is creating stuff for people who are in first. So get that word out there to go to firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25 and get voting. We look at like a few years ago when we'd be happy to get like a couple hundred votes. Now we're getting like 400 to 500 votes for things. So there's a lot of votes coming in each week, but the more we get, typically the more dispersed that's going to be for things, at least from what we've seen in the past. So get out and vote when that voting does open and let people know. I also encourage you as well too, on the Chief Delphi thread, if you have teams that should be stood out, post on that Chief Delphi thread. A lot of people will have a chance to see it. That's your opportunity for there as well too. Is post on Chief Delphi which teams you feel should be on the top 25. Couple real quick before we leave off, events for next week. I'm going to be at PNW Bonnie Lake, and also the Yakima event, which I'm forgetting the name. That is Bonnie Lake. I'm at the 2 PNW events this week. So I'll be flying out tomorrow, flying out to Seattle, driving to one of the events on Thursday night and be there on Friday. And then the Sundome, I think, is the other one that I'll be at. One of those two I'll be at, one on Friday, one on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to seeing many, many of you out there as well. Connor, are you going to be at an event next week, or what events will you have your eyes on?
I will be the only MC at Western New England this upcoming weekend, so my voice is going to be shot.
Good luck.
I'll Uber eat you some like cough drops and honey and stuff. Costco size one.
I appreciate that.
Christine, how about you?
Yikes. So I will actually be heading down to Norwalk, Connecticut to go to not a first event, but a robot event at Norwalk Havoc Robotics League, because Aaron Hill will be there with some of the tiny bots, and I'm excited to see if any other teams, there's going to be a lot of teams there, but hoping that like Jameson and other people will be there. But I will be keeping an eye on some streams. I know my friends on 195 are making their debut this weekend at Winnick, where Connor will be, sacrificing his voice for all of us. And is 971 competing this weekend finally?
Week 4, I think.
Yeah.
No, they can be at San Francisco this week.
San Fran. Okay. So I'll definitely be peeking at how they do it. I now understand the whole ASMR thing after watching that video. I was like, it just looks and sounds cute. Amazing. But yeah, I'll be going to Norwalk Havoc Robotics League, where maybe I'll bump into some FRC people, maybe not, but can't wait to see how teams do this weekend.
Maybe figuratively, maybe literally.
Justin, you got a big itinerary coming up, man.
Yeah, we'll be at Finger Lakes in Rochester this coming weekend, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we're driving to Long Island to compete Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at Long Island number 1. So definitely a busy day full of robots. My voice will also be stressed a little bit, but we're looking forward to it. Finally getting a robot on the field for the first time. I know our kids are very excited.
Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in once again to the FRC Top 25 week number 2. If you are watching live, we're not going to have an after talk today with many of us having events coming up. We do need to head out and prepare for that. So stay tuned for future weeks as well. FRC Top 25 will air on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to check out FRC Recap, covering all the events in FRC at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by FRC Roundup, which you can see Connor right over there at approximately 9 p.m. Eastern as well, too, which is our roundtable talk show. Tons of content coming out to youtube.com/firstupdatesnow, so make sure you check out there. Of course, all of our socials. Our TikTok is growing. Mike Stark just posted a TikTok that got over 250,000 views on it, which is crazy. I don't know what it means, but it's awesome. So it's cool to see it getting out. Obviously, past people in the first community as well too. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for watching the FRC Top 25. We wish you all the best of luck if you're competing in week number 3, and we'll see you next time on First Updates Now. Talk to you then. This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. If your team is using SolidWorks, make sure you log into the 3D Experience platform to gain access to tutorials, collaborate with other users, and download the Charge Up field and kit up parts. Go to solidworks.com/first and click on Log into 3D Experience platform to gain access. The Charged Up competition season is here. We have a ton of live Twitch and YouTube content coming to you. All of our uploads and archives, including shows, behind the bumpers, Finalysis, and more, are available at youtube.com/firstupdatesnow. Check out all of our live shows on Mondays and Tuesdays at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.